Hello everyone and welcome to another Nighthawk Racing track guide. This time we are at the Red Bull Ring in the Group 3 Genesis X, and let's get it started. So, have the run up to turn 1. I usually like to place the car on the left hand side wheels on top of the green part. You can go as far as some people do, like just going fully on top of the curve, of the red and white curve. No matter what, I like to brake at the 100 meter board or just a little before you get there. And you can start turning closer to the 50 meter board. You also have the rubber marks on the ground as a reference, should you need to. You're going to be probably in second gear here. You want to hit the apex and kind of clip the yellow sausage curve on the inside, but just be aware that it's extremely easy for you to lose control of the car as you get to the exit. And at the exit, you can go slightly above the yellow sausage curve, but not too much, otherwise you will incur on a penalty. So just be aware of that. It's super easy to lose control of a car there, as I said. Yeah, some people consider this part here to be turn 2. I personally don't, but just for the sake of it, I'm gonna consider this turn 2, so it doesn't even matter because it's flat out. And then we get to technically turn 3. I like to brake around the 100 meter board. And you're gonna be braking here, getting close to the 50 meter board. You want to turn in. You're mostly likely going to be in first gear by the time you get to the apex. And yeah, you want to upshift to second and stay as close to this yellow sausage curve as possible at the exit. Yeah, just be aware that once again it's one of those corners where if you just go slightly wrong on your inputs, it can be a place where you can lose control of the car and just cause unnecessary damage or be facing the wrong way. Then we get to turn 4. You're gonna brake at the 100 meter board. I like to open my line a little bit and go on top of the curve. I know some people are a bit more conservative and don't do it. I like to do this, as I said, because it helps me have a wider entry into the corner. Yeah, you're gonna start turning in as you get to the 50 meter board. You're going to be probably in second gear here. And yeah, you need to be patient on the throttle. You're gonna clip this curve on the right hand side ever so slightly. And then you're gonna upshift into third gear and aim for this curve on the exit here. You might have to go on top of the green part of the curve. And in here, turn 5. This is one of the trickiest corners to get right, I think. Sometimes it's a bit of a technical corner. So you wanna go on top of this curve. You wanna start braking just around like 75 meters. And yeah, as soon as you're getting closer to this downhill part here, that's when you wanna accelerate. And by the time you get to the apex, which is around here where I am right now, you're gonna go fully on the power, probably being like third gear by this point. And you can place your right hand side wheels on top of the green part of the curve, but just be aware, as with the speed you're carrying, it's easy for you to understeer and then just get a penalty because of it. Then you want to open your line into this corner here. So you're going to be as close to this curve as possible, and then you're going to try to slot the car so that the right hand side wheels touch the green part. But always making sure that you stay with the left hand side wheels on top of the red and white curve or on top of the actual tarmac. You're gonna get a wide exit here. And then this is the Rindt corner, I believe. So you're gonna brake somewhere between the 100 and the 50 meter boards. A good reference point sometimes is usually this post here where you have these two marshals. It's also a good reference. So you're gonna place the car on top of the curve. You're gonna start turning in at around the 50-meter board again. You're going to go like 50-60% on the brakes, and then you're just gonna let the car coast for a little bit, and then full power. And you're gonna aim to have the car like this, just as on top of the curve as possible without getting a penalty, which, as you might guess, around this track, it's really easy to pick up penalties. So yeah, just be aware of that. You're gonna wanna open your line as much as possible. Then you're gonna get to the final corner. You see these two yellow sausage curves here? That's where I usually start braking at the beginning of the first one. And then turning in as soon as possible. You're gonna aim for the apex, then you're gonna pick up the throttle, but just beware that, once again, it's really easy for you to understeer and pick up penalties. And yeah, as long as you stay like this with the left hand side wheels on top of the green curve and the right hand side on top of the tarmac, you are absolutely fine. And then you just power onto the finish line. And yeah, at that corner you're probably going to be in third gear. As you get there, you just power through to the finish line, and that's it. Knowing that this track also has wet weather available, just as general tips, just make sure that you brake slightly earlier than you'd normally in dry conditions. Just be careful as well if you go on top of the curves, as it's easy to lose control of the car as the water tends to accumulate on those parts of the track. Most importantly, be super gentle with your inputs, braking, and especially throttle and the turning inputs. In here, as long as you're aiming to be as smooth as possible on both of them, you should be fine. And yeah, that's general tips as well. You might need to short shift a bit more just to keep the car under control. Just going up the gears sooner and everything is it's always very useful in wet conditions. And also in this game, as soon as the track is under heavy rain conditions, as you can normally see on the water surface indicator, should be somewhere between the half of it or 2/3 and above. You might want to take a different line from the normal dry racing line in some places, as it does really help you find some extra grip. And yeah, just really be able to be as quick as possible and maximize the performance. So yeah, that was another track guide from us and Nighthawk Racing. It was a pleasure doing this one. If you want to see any more track guides or any more racing content, make sure to check out the Nighthawk Racing YouTube channel, and check out our other socials as well, because we are on TikTok and on Instagram. So you can check us out, and I shall see you all very soon.